French press preview and international press as well by William Hildebrandt. Hello there.
Good morning, Catherine.
We're going to be taking a look at the front page of the Libération, French newspaper first.
That's right. We look at these images and we have Berlusconi prominently wearing a captain's hat, and it makes us think of the infamous shipwreck of the Costa Concordia. And it says the sinking of the Italian ship. Now, this draws a parallel between the ire the captain of that ship received, and this is perhaps how many think Berlusconi should be perceived. This was, of course, his first definitive conviction after dozens of trials. And in an editorial piece called The Coda, it points out that though this tax evasion case was not by any means the most serious allegations he's faced, the Italian Supreme Court should still receive credit for holding him accountable. The piece says that the king of Bunga Bunga will likely serve out his sentence in house arrest due to his advanced age. And now that the judges have done their part, it's up to the politicians, specifically those on the left side of Italian politics, to do their part to help the country to move on.
And of course, other newspapers also looking at this story. Le Figaro looking at how Italy as a country is going to be moving forward.
That's right. They say this is a fall of the Cavalieri, and they're wondering what will happen next. They say he's been convicted but not eliminated from Italian politics. His influence is no doubt there. And if Berlu accepts this ruling, then it bodes well for Italian politics. But should he try to challenge it, then he could call on the 5 government ministers from his PDL party to pull their support and, in effect, cause a new political crisis.
That's probably the last thing that Italy or the Eurozone needs right now,
Indeed.
isn't it? Well, we'll move on now from Italy to Egypt, where the Libération has interviewed a young man who witnessed his close friend's death back in July. Tell us more about them.
Yes, this was a horrific video, and the headline says, "I was afraid, I was sure they were going to kill me." The article recounts the events of July 5th, according to Amr Salah Amdi, a 17-year-old high school student. He says he and his friend Amada Badr were on the streets of Alexandria and chased by a group of Islamists. Now, Amr alleges the mob was part of the Muslim Brotherhood. The 2 boys fled into this building. They got separated on the 6th floor, and Amada continued to the top floor, where he was eventually tossed from the ledge and died. Amr says he only managed to survive because his attacker, who stabbed him and cut off 2 of his fingers, fell down. He hid in the corner. And so these events, though, the video has yet to be verified. Muslim Brotherhood denies any responsibility and claims the video is in fact a fake.
Very shocking images in any case, I have to say. Well, we'll change gears now ever so slightly, move over to South America. Uruguay, which is poised to become the first nation to create a legal and regulated marijuana market, which is quite revolutionary.
That's right, and that's exactly the intent of President Jose Mujica's plan to find a new way to fight the global war on drugs. He says that essentially smoking the drug was already legal in the country, but this paves the way for the government to supervise, regulate the growing, carrying, distribution, and selling of it. The move has drawn both praise and criticism. The United Nations already voiced concern about the measure, but others said it could make the street safer. And each year in Uruguay, there's an estimated 22 tons of marijuana sold, and for every 10 deaths by drug overdose, there are 100 people killed in the drug war. The bill now goes to the Senate, where it's expected to be passed in October.
Okay, it's certainly be an interesting experiment for other countries where that idea has been mooted. We're going to return back here to France now. Ministers, they've already had their bank accounts scrutinised. We found out who owns a nice car and who owns a bicycle. Now it seems like their holidays are being examined, at least by the public or the press, if not officially.
That's right. Well, what happened is basically back in 2003, then Health Minister Philippe Douste-Blazy was on vacation. That year, there was a heat wave and 40,000 people died. Politicians took a public image hit, and many people now have trouble accepting that image of politicians wearing sunglasses or bathing suits amidst a crisis. So now some politicians are saying that they're under increased pressure to be on the call all the time. Le Figaro has a piece that says that some of these politicians are saying, look, we are not superhuman. We deserve breaks and time off like everyone else, and that the chances to go on holiday, and especially abroad, are increasingly unlikely, especially under Prime Minister Ayrault at this point.
Okay, but definitely need to keep an eye on those soaring temperatures. Thanks very much for the time being. William Hildebrandt there with our roundup of the French newspapers. And that does wrap up this half hour of news here on Live from Paris. Thanks very much for being with us, and stay tuned to France 24.